1 gave us another classic for the history books, but race 2 will be turned up to 11 as the youngest riders in the FIM JuniorGP World Championship Series are given centre stage ahead of 14 important laps around Chiquito to Jerez and Angel Nieto. The race for the title is now beginning to heat up as Carlos Cano and Marco Morelli are within reaching distance of the championship summit. Who will come out of Jerez as the championship leader, and he'll be searching for more. Join us as we find out when racing gets underway ahead of the 14-lap finale here for race number 2. So 4 races down, 2 more to go here at a glorious Jerez Sunday in the Andalusian sunshine. My name's Liam Hodgins at Connor Doherty alongside me, bringing you today's racing action. And what a day it has been, breathtaking, exciting, and well, the racing has been turned up to an 11.
Liam, it's been a veritable banquet of racing action today, and I'm so pleased to have been able to spend this day with you.
It's been a great day so far, and a great day for Carlos Cano. Before we head into race number 2, as he took honours in race 1 from pole position, the 71 took his 4th victory of the season. But we're watching Marco Morelli coming from 28th on the grid, road number 10, as he charged through the pack. Now, it was all elbows out between Gonzalez and Cano. It seemed like they both were about to wipe each other out at some point of this. Thankfully, they kept it clean towards the end. But the top 2 were joined by another 6 riders, but those 6 became 4 as Jesus Rios and Tinez crashed out. Hopefully, we'll see more from them in race number 2. 5 riders at the front included Peroni on 76, Bayon, and of course Pugliese on bike 31, as Gonzalez once again in the number 11 machine, and another aggressive move on Cano. Cano once again retaliated immediately, but then we saw further back, the championship leader at the time started to close in on the leading 5. Pugliese made his way to the front at certain stages of the race, so did Bayon in the 33. Further back, it would be a scrap and a half for leading honours for 2nd position. But we saw the number 97 of Marco Morelli make his way to 2nd and start to close down the top 5 for a barnstorming end to the 14 laps in race number 1 this morning. But who could stop Carlos Cano? Well, it looked like it might be David Gonzalez on bike 11. As the last laps approached, it was 3 abreast into turn number 6 with Peroni looking to take the advantage, but it was Pugliese and then Bayon on the 33 that swooped into 1st and 2nd, with Cano mired all the way back in 5th. Once again, Gonzalez had to look up the inside, Bayon ran a little bit wide, and once again we've kept our eye on Marco Morelli, who was in 6th, now chasing down the leading 5. Into the final corner, Cano made a decisive move, something he would use on the final lap to take victory. But Gonzalez was like an annoying bee on the thorn on the side of Cano, as he wouldn't let up at all, as the top 5 became 8, but Cano once again held off David Gonzalez to take his 4th victory of the season, and with that, the championship lead. He's now 11 points ahead of Marco Morelli, who started from 28. So, going into race number 2, can Cano consolidate that championship advantage? Well, if you watched the highlights of race number 1 there and the juices are flowing, I'm sure race number 2 is going to be even better. The track and air temperature has increased over race number 1 this morning. It's up to 32 degrees air temperature, 40 degrees track temperature. And Connor, you've been heading out to the paddock for your interviews down in Park Fermi. I can imagine you can tell me how hot it is now.
I can confirm with my boots on the ground that it's substantially warmer every time I set foot outside of our commentary box.
Well, I hope those boots aren't melting to the ground, to be honest.
Not just yet, but it's a very real possibility. As we mentioned earlier, it's as if the summer just has not come to an end here in Jerez. The Andalusian sun is beating down on the Circuito de Jerez Angel Nieto, and it shows no inclination of stopping anytime soon. Those skies are blue. There's not a single cloud above us as we get things underway for race 2 of the European Talent Cup.
We do indeed, and talking of the weather, it's quite incredible because we've been spending the last week in Barcelona, and Barcelona's been getting quite chilly. And then we came all the way down to Andalusia, and of course it is like summer has been reinvigorated once more. So September sun is really beating down on the glorious Jerez circuit. Will Glory be beating down on Carlos Cano once more in race number 2? Well, in 14 laps time, we will find out. Trying every measure out there to cool down the riders, as Emilio Alzamora has gone from 125 champion to manager to mentor to, well, physio maybe now.
A busy day for Alzamora.
It has indeed, yes, a very busy day. There he has confirmation of the championship position, 120 points for your new championship leader, 11 points ahead of Marco Morelli. What can Morelli do from 28th again on the grid? Now, I must remind you, if you're just joining us, why Morelli is down the field. He was disqualified from Q2 yesterday, and that meant he will be starting just in front of the 2 riders that came through the last chance qualifying this morning, Matthias Tamburini and Edu Gutierrez. So Morelli came oh so close to a podium in race number 1. He'll be hoping to get on the podium and potentially recuperate some of those championship points lost to Cano, as we look at Pugliese, who is trying to chill out in some shade and getting a pat on the shoulder from David De Gea, who was a former 125 race winner.
Well, Pugliese is another rider that's going to be desperate to get back on that podium after missing out by the most narrow of margins in the previous race. David Gonzalez as well. His battle with Cano was one for the ages in race 1. Still missing that first place finish in Junior GP this year, but he has been showing such consistency, second and third. He's just missing that something.
Yeah, he's come oh so close. And David Gonzalez, I did say David Gadea previously, was patting Pugliese on the shoulder. Well, I was completely wrong. That was another Spanish motorcycling legend I was thinking of. It was Sergio Gadea, who has been part of the Aspar squad ever since his 125 days, almost 20 years. Now there it is, Marco Morelli and Eddie O'Shea, who just completed his final ever Junior GP race, giving some encouragement to your former championship leader.
And a good luck hug.
And a good luck hug, of course. That's always what you need, isn't it, before a race? Yeah, it just gives you that extra few tenths of a second, does the good luck hug. But yeah,
speaking as an expert there, Liam.
100%. I do love my hugs here in the commentary box, and so far maybe that's why it's been a little bit tough today, because I've still not received one from you. But I'll let that slide. Whatever. So Lorenzo Bayon, the number 33. Look at that. The race graph has just been going 0, 0, 0, 21st, 11th, 5th in race number 1, and well, it's a nice little start for the future.
Well, judging by that graph, he'll be finishing first in this race.
Exactly.
Exponential increase every single time he races.
It's great. It's great to see when you can see a rider, just every time they go out in a race, they are increasing their performance. Look, and you can see not just from the riders, but also the mechanics. It's really warm down there. As we said, 32 degree air temperature, 40 degree track temperature. It's a very warm day out there in Jerez. But one rider that looks very chilled is Jesus Torres. Now, maybe he's had a bit of a cold bath after his coming together with Tinez in race number 1, so he's had a bit longer to cool down. And quite, well, it's quite poignant, is it, that over his right shoulder we did see the rider that he was involved in the crash with, the number 27, the Venezuelan rider Tinez, who was riding absolutely superbly in race number 1 before they both went down at Lorenzo Corner, turn 13 at the back of your shot there. Alex Longarella, who came through the field along with Marco Morelli, used him as sort of, well, a rider to reel in the top group and more throttle this time round, he's saying. But he's had good form in the last few races. The only outliers there were Catalunya, where he finished 14th and 17th, but the rest he's finished inside the top 6 or 7 in the previous 5 races.
Yeah, he showed us a very intelligent rider early on when he let the then championship leader just ferry him up to the leading pack.
Now, here we go. Valentin Peroni, 3rd place in race 1 this morning. Starts down in 7th. 2 podiums in the last couple of races he has had. Well, last few races, but also a 4th and a 5th in between that. So Valentin Peroni has been a very consistent rider so far this season, apart from just missing out at race number 1 in Estoril, where he finished outside of the top 10. But that was on a day of really murky conditions. But throw him some drag conditions his way, and he's well and truly in the mix.
Yeah, absolutely. He's shown what he's capable of today. Is Tinez then, who was so unfortunate after a fantastic race up until his crash earlier today. He showed us what he can do. He showed us in Misano, and he showed us here in Jerez as well. Definitely one to watch out for.
Yeah, he is indeed a bright young Venezuelan star for the future, is Jerez. And every time he goes out on track, we're just a little bit more surprised of the capabilities and the talent he has. Not to say that we didn't believe in him before, but it was a name that's sort of come out of nowhere, is Jerez, and it's great to see that Venezuela has a young talent.
Seiro Ikegami then, who's 11th in the championship. Performed very well in Estoril in race 2 and in Catalunya. He'll be looking to improve on his P13 finish earlier today.
Yeah, Ikegami was the leading rider in that second group for much of that first race this morning, before Marco Morelli took the bull by its horns in that battle and chased down the leading 5. As we see Gonzalo Perez, who starts from inside the top 10, 13th in the championship. His mechanic there just asking what time we're going to get underway so he can get back to his aircon pit box. I think he's had enough of standing out there. Just over 3 minutes away from getting underway, so not too far, not too far. Just hold on for another couple of minutes and we'll just leave the riders out there on track all by their lonesome. However, your new championship leader, race win number 4, came earlier on in the day. What can he do? From pole position, it's Carlos Cano looking for victory number 5.
Here we have the starting grid then. The poles is de Carlos Cano. He's followed on the front row by Pugliese and Gonzalez. Row 2, Bayon, Torres and Longarella. Row 3, Peroni, Tinez and Ikegami. Behind them on row 4 we have Perez, Tessini and Agostinelli. Row 5, Zani, Karpushin and Bujosa. Row 6, Nicolas, Cayet and Lou. On row 7 we have Mignot, Alsina and Valle. Row 8, Enriquez, Frelson and Bertola. And on row 9, Daniel Jr., Gabarini and Fernandez. On row 10 we have Morelli, as Liam explained earlier, starting from the back row, and he is going to be with Tamburini and Gutierrez.
Now we get underway for the warm-up lap ahead of European Talent Cup race number 2. All the talking of this weekend so far, or on Sunday here today, is can Carlos Cano convert pole position into victory? Can Marco Morelli charge through from 28th on the grid to find himself in the podium battle? Now, he charged through from 28th on the grid to finish 2nd in race number 1, only, well, less than half a second off Carlos Cano. However, it was Carlos Cano that he didn't want to see win that was the victor in race number 1 earlier on today. Now, as we get underway for European Talent Cup, it's a very sunny day, as our graphic does tell us, and so much so that the air temperature is 32 degrees, track temperature 40, and we've got 30 roaring riders ready to take on this Jerez circuit. There is a championship graphic. Carlos Cano leading the way, 11 points ahead of Marco Morelli, with David Gonzalez. He's not out of this either. He's 28 points further back, and Pugliese inside the top 4. David Gonzalez, 5 podiums from a potential 7 races so far in 2024. There he is on number 11. The very distinctive bumblebee-looking bike with the red, with the black and yellow on the livery. And one that stands out immediately, as does his teammates. Tessini on bike number 4, the AC Racing Team squad. Can Gonzalez finally take a maiden victory in European Talent Cup? Well, if he does that, he has to topple Carlos Cano, which he did try, I must admit, Connor, on multiple occasions in race number 1. Not just take victory, but also topple from the bike at times.
It was an incredible battle between those two riders. They were chopping, they were changing. It was one for the ages, genuinely a fantastic race to watch, and I urge anyone watching race 2 or preparing to go back and watch race 1 after race 2 has come to what I'm sure will be a thrilling conclusion.
Yeah, I mean, even though you probably do know the results now, it's well and truly well worth a watch. The last lap was utterly outstanding.
No shortage of drama whatsoever.
No, so we've had plenty of great racing and a little bit of drama sprinkled throughout Jerez here on Sunday. We hope for more clean racing, but close racing ahead of race number 2 in the European Talent Cup. Carlos Cano on the right-hand side of the screen goes from pole position. Pugliese in the middle, and Gonzalez on row number 1 on the left-hand side. As the red lights go out, we will see who gets the strongest start. No, we do not. I think we had some of the riders are now leaping away. That's an aborted start. Yellow flags are out, so they're all taking off now. So I think even the marshals are a bit confused. Like, what's happening here?
So a wheelie there from Fernandez as well, just to let everyone know that.
Yeah, so we're getting another warm-up lap here, or it might even. I'm not sure if the race did quite start, and riders have just thought, you know what, let's just go for it. And obviously, none of them trying to. A few, but with their hands up there, they might just call a red flag to this one, or just let them come back round to the starting grid once again. But yeah,
it was a peculiar start to say the least, Liam.
It really was. It just as the riders were about to let the clutches out, that's when the start was aborted. So all of them decided to start, but then some of them started and kept going, some of them stopped. So thankfully we didn't see anybody collide with anybody. So it looks like we might have. It looks like the teams are now getting ready to go back out on the grid. It is a red flag, so we thought that might be the case, instead of letting them just come back around and take the start from there. But not sure what happened there. That was a very, very strange one.
One rider in the middle of the pack, not quite sure who, because it happened so quickly, jumped the start.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of a Red Bull Rookies Cup race we had in Jerez a couple of years ago, when one of the riders right at the back of the grid had the most almighty jump start of all time and just continued on basically. Had about a 30-second lead at the end of lap 1 and served his right through, which was the most peculiar thing I've ever seen. Thankfully we didn't get to that point, but it was still a strange start. So it's always a bit of drama in starts when it comes to Jerez, but we love it anyway. We're always here for something a little bit different to happen, just to keep the excitement going and the adrenaline rushing.
I don't think the European Talent Cup, Liam, needs any more excitement. We saw the race that we saw earlier. We've seen this start already in race 2.
Yeah, the sound of a man who just can't be bothered with this red flag because we just want to keep on racing. I completely agree with you. Concur with that one, to be honest.
Just let him go.
Yeah, just let him go and do another warm-up lap. Just bring them back round to the grid. But
no, we need to do things by the book, Liam.
Of course we do, yes. I'm not someone who likes to stick by the book, but when it comes to this, make sure everybody is safe. We'll stick by the book. So the riders make the way back into pit lane. Hopefully we'll get a replay of that start, because
yeah, I'd love to see that
not
again.
just have they come back in, they've completely aborted everything here. So yeah, as you said, I thought maybe they would just let the riders come back round to the grid and go for a start number 2, but just to get everyone back on the way. As we saw when that red flag did come out, even the teams were a little bit confused. What did we do? They started running down pit lane with the starter motors back onto the grid.
Everyone just flipping through the rule book to see exactly what needs to be done.
Yeah, they are indeed. I mean, that's one of the strangest starts I've ever seen to a race. So
yeah, I think so for me as well. And you both know how long we've been watching this sport for.
Yeah, decades on our side, haven't we? So there's I thought that was Eddie O'Shea, the forefront of your screen, just taking a look at the start. But
it's just a very popular haircut these days.
Yeah, it is, yes. A haircut that I've never sported.
You could do, though.
Probably could, yeah. But I'll keep the long hair for now. Much prefer the long hair just to stand out from the crowd.
I mean, it is long hair. It's just short at the sides.
You're sporting a bit of it now going on, Connor. So, yeah, rocking the young look you are.
I'm just trying to deny my rapidly aging.
Well, it's a platinum look you've got going on, so just the hairline still remains quite well intact. Now, we just saw the Aspar junior riders chatting away. I think everyone's just trying to figure out what's going on. We see the Mir Racing Infinite Work riders. Is that the signal? We're getting away shortly. So here we go. Right, so let's look to the right-hand side of the screen, I believe.
Look at the 42. 69.
Was it 69?
Yeah.
Got the jump start.
Bujosa.
So that's a strange one there. I think you caught it before I did, Connor. So well done on your hawk-like eye. So the number 69 on the left-hand side of your screen, the blue bike, it just goes slightly before the rest, but
no one else seemed to be moving too much either.
I mean, it's incredibly quick reactions from the starting squad here at Jerez. They managed to catch that immediately, and the marshals as well, without even thinking twice about it, had the yellow flags out.
No, fantastic work. Absolutely wonderful work from all of the staff involved.
Yeah, we actually do have to give praise to a lot of the staff here in the JuniorGP series. We don't give it to them enough, but they do a fantastic job, don't they?
Absolutely.
We couldn't go racing without their incredible organizational skills and having the eye on the ball immediately. Caught it before even we did.
I'd like to see another replay of the steward who just called everyone wearing his sunglasses, just like, calm down, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I've got it all under control. Yeah,
he was calm, he was collected.
Yeah, he's going to be walking, he's going to have his, he's going to be like the cock of the walk later on. So, yeah, a champion of the system. As we see the riders with the fans trying to cool themselves down because it is an extremely warm day here in Jerez.
Yeah, there'll be his egos. There he is again.
Yeah, he's got his finger on the button, doesn't he? He knows exactly what he's up to. No problems there whatsoever.
Yeah, I think the riders will be as eager as anyone else to get back out there. Quick restart procedure. Pit lane will open to 1 minute at 3:10 for 9 laps.
So that'll be just over 3 minutes time for 9 laps of... Well, it's a shame we've got a reduced lappage of the race here. We've gone from 14 down to 9. But
that is a shame. That's also going to make it really difficult for Morelli to make the kind of impact that he did in the first race.
Yeah, indeed.
That's going to change the dynamic a significant amount.
A very good point. Well spotted out there, Connor. Yeah, absolutely. Marco Morelli from 28th on the grid, row number 10. He'll have to get his elbows out immediately from the first lap and not hang about at all just to come through the field. So.
I don't think he was hanging about at any moment, but with 14 laps he fell just short. Maybe with 16 he could have done it, but with 9, it's very difficult for the MLAV rider.
Yeah, you can imagine inside the MLAV box now the team will be coming up with a quick plan to see what they can do about working their way to the front for Marco Morelli. Yeah. Now, quick start procedure. The riders will have 1 minute to get out of pit lane. If they miss that 1 minute, they will have to start from the back of the grid. They'll be allowed out for the warm-up lap, but then we'll have to roll back around, start from the back of the grid. So when the riders head out onto the track for the sighting lap, they'll roll back around to the starting grid. When all the riders have lined up in their position, there'll be a mechanic there just to make sure they get into position, but once they're all there, the mechanic will leave the grid and then the riders will start the warm-up lap. A procedure that came into effect, I believe, almost a decade ago in MotoGP, just to keep the schedule as close as it possibly could be to the TV schedule. So it's always a great thing that they brought on board, because I always remember in the old days you'd be sitting around for another half an hour, it felt like, just to start again, which was always something you don't really like to do. So quick start procedure is a blessing in disguise.
Well, you don't have to just be sat at home listening to Two Cranks on TV.
I mean, could do. I mean, I was as sad as that. I used to always love doing it. The only problem is today I'm a little bit sad that we don't hear any music playing over the PA system like we usually do for...
Yeah, what we had? We've had some traditional Andalusian... Well, not traditional. We had Los Delincuentes, who are a group from this part of the world.
I'll stop you right there, Connor,
yep,
because yes, we'll look back at that and stop talking about the traditional music of Andalusia. 47 is well moved there in the middle of the screen. So
34 as well.
Yeah, so that was a Capuchin. So yeah, and everyone's like, "What's going on? We don't understand." Well, yellow flags.
You can see the confusion from the riders.
Yeah. Confusion from
as well.
us, confusion from the riders, confusion from the teams. The only one I seem to know what to do was
there will be someone at home that knows exactly what's happened.
Yeah, exactly. We're probably getting some angry messages telling us that we're completely wrong. We don't know what we're doing. But
all right, here we go. The riders are coming out again.
So
let's see if we can nail the start this time, lads.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. So the pit lane will open in 14 seconds time. Jimmy there, he is already rolled to the bottom of pit lane. He'll wait for the red light to turn green, which he should do in 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. Maybe not. It's 10 past. There we go. Yes. So they'll be given the green flag, and the riders have made their way back out onto circuit for the sighting lap. They'll roll back round to meet one of their mechanics on the grid. Once they're all lined up in their position, they will be set off on their warm-up lap. So it looks like all of the riders are rolling down pit lane. There's Marco Morelli in the number 97. He's the last one out of pit lane. I know it wasn't even below, it was the 37 of Nicholas. So the Australian rider, he's happy to get going in this one. So quite a
There is Morelli.
Yeah, so I believe every rider is now out of pit lane with 20 seconds to go. So that's good to see that everyone has been able to make it back out for the sighting lap immediately. So what can Marco Morelli do? As Connor quite rightly pointed out, he only has 9 laps now to go from 28th on the grid and gain as many positions as possible.
Yeah, maybe this time it really is a question of damage limitation for the MLab team and see what they can do to make up for it in the races to come in Aragon and Valencia.
Yeah, looking back to race number 1, it took Morelli until about lap number 4 before he eventually got into the point. But when he got there, he scythed through that group extremely quickly, but just didn't leave himself enough time to catch the leading group of 5. There we go, there's the team representatives on the grid, waiting for the riders to come back round. So just a reminder, we had an aborted start for European Talent Cup race number 2 if you're just joining us. And the riders made their way back into the pit for a good 5 or so minutes, and now we're back underway with a quick start procedure. 9 laps ahead of us in European Talent Cup race number 2. Carlos Cano looking to make it a double delight here in Jerez with his 5th victory of the season. But the one rider we really are watching out for when the lights go out in a couple of minutes' time, it's not Valentin Peroni. He's just gone through the long lap penalty loop. He's one of them, but it has his Argentine compatriot Marco Morelli, who starts from 28th on the grid, row number 10. So the riders make their way to the starting grid, and the mechanics greet them as they come in, and then we'll get back underway with the warm-up lap.
Yeah, this is additional drama, building the pressure on the riders as well. I don't know how much, to what extent they feel it. It certainly looks like Cano doesn't. He's
got
cool
no pressure.
as you like.
He's so relaxed, he's horizontal almost.
Well, at the wow. At the end of the last race, he was truly exhausted. He gave absolutely everything. As we saw, that battle with David Gonzalez was sensational. He came out on top then, but this time around,
yeah, David Gonzalez threw everything plus the kitchen sink at Carlos Cano, and Carlos Cano threw it straight back again and prevailed in race number 1. Will he prevail in race number 2? Well, we now have a gang buster race ahead of us. 9 laps. It's going to be like a sprint here.
it is going to be like a sprint, Liam. That's...
Yeah. 9 laps. It was reduced from 14 after an aborted start. We've got 9 to go. Once we start the race, after we complete the warm-up lap, all 30 riders will be getting ready to take their spot on the grid. And thankfully for this time round, we haven't had any of the riders like we did in European Talent Cup race 1, and of course Moto 2 that needs to be taken off the grid. Christian Daniel Jr., he did brilliantly come through from pit lane start after stalling his bike on the grid for some point, or sorry, just missing out on some points. But he'll hopefully be starting this race from his correct grid slot and be fighting for the points in this.
Absolutely. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens in turns 1 and 2 as well in this opening lap.
Yeah, Marco Morelli will be having to sharpen those elbows up on this warm-up lap and get them out on the start of the race. So, seems like a very slow warm-up lap, to be honest. I'm not sure how the riders are taking this one. Maybe just trying to conserve as much tyre as possible, but considering we've got 4 laps less than what we previously did, I think tyre consumption would have been absolutely fine.
Yeah, you're right, Liam. But I'm sure they're just following instructions from the team managers, and they know better than us.
They do indeed. We just call it as we see it up here in the commentary box. And what we see so far is a very slow warm-up lap. So, but thankfully, the riders are making their way through the penultimate corner into Lorenzo corner, which we've seen the perpetrator of so much action here today. And if you once again, if you've not seen the previous 2 JuniorGP races, European Talent Cup Race 1 or Moto 2 so far. Make sure after the proceeding is all done here today, just remember that European Talent Cup about to take the start for Race 2, and of course the Stock European Championship coming up in about 45 minutes time with Lorenzo Dalla Porta and Mario Mayor equal on points coming into this race. But before we get to that, a rider that is not equal on points to anybody, but well and truly out front on his own, 11 points ahead. With Marco Morelli in the background really bigging himself up, geeing himself up ahead of what has to be one of the most important races of the season for him. I think it was actually Christian down in June, to be honest, but Marco Morelli just starting behind him. So the green flag waves. Fingers crossed we can get started without any issue this time around. The red flag, the red lights are on. The revs are rising. Here we go. And it was a great start from 33 Bayon. Looked like Cano missed the start a little bit, but he seems to get off the line quite well, to be honest. But here comes Pugliese on the 31. Pugliese swoops into the lead, and it's Cano from pole position. He's in second. As we watch further back, Morelli on the 97. Watch out for him. He's coming through from 28. Cano comes through from second and punches out Pugliese into turn number 2. And Bellon from fourth on the grid. He's up to third. David Gonzalez, he will not want to see the number 71 in first place because he wants his first ever victory here in European Talent Cup. 5 podiums so far for the 11. He's still chasing his first victory as Peroni looks up the inside of Torres, who came a cropper at turn number 13 in race number 1. He slotted safely into 6th for the time being. But as we power down the back straight into Pedrosa corner, it's Cano that leads the way, but Pugliese, he looks over at Pugliese coming down the back straight, and he says Pugliese go past him potentially beyond, but no, he swoops across the front of Pugliese and Cano continues to lead.
Yeah, Pugliese and Bayon really putting the pressure on Cano for the time being.
Yeah.
Hot on that back wheel.
Yeah, he's all over the back wheel, and there's a rider we've not seen too much from so far this weekend. Perez, I just saw him flash in the background in 25. He's made a good start. He's up to 8th position from 10th on the grid. So, chopping and changing almost. Peroni looking up the inside of, I think that might have been Torres. So Torres has made up a couple of positions here on the opening lap. He was through sector 1. He's now up to 4th, just behind his teammate Bellon. So Bellon chasing his first podium of the season.
Gonzalez has dropped down to 6th.
Somebody's gone through the gravel trap there. Through turn 11 into 12. Who's that?
Yeah.
Just saw it looked like maybe a flash of blue at the bottom of the screen, so keep an eye on the rider dropping down our timing monitor.
It's Vaya. I think it's Vaya.
No, it's actually Bohosa.
Ah, Bohosa.
69, who we believe might have caused all the trouble at the first start, so Bohosa caused himself even more issue at turn number 11. But causing Cano all the issues is David Gonzalez, who's now made his way from 4th to 3rd and pushing on as Pugliese still in 2nd, but he was leaning over the line. Well, it was a dead heat across the line between Pugliese and Cano. Now, where is Morelli? Morelli, we're looking down our timing monitor for...
He's up into P17.
Wow, yes, I was looking further than Marco Morelli's made it a mighty lap number 1. There he is, he's flashing into the background, coming through turn 4.
Ooh,
so Morelli, he's already gained 11 positions on lap number 1. Your former championship leader, he's 11 points behind your race leader Cano in the championship. He needs to march on. We just saw him flash into screen, coming over the top of the hill. Cano leads away into Pedrosa corner. Pugliese up the inside, Milon up the inside, and he moves into second. Peroni sliding on the... Oh, a bit of a wobble there from Bellon. So Bellon, he's lost a couple of big lengths to Pugliese, but Cano is staying trouble-free at the front of this group at the moment.
For the time being, as well as Morelli needed to look to get the job done as well as he can. He's going to really need some of the other riders at the front to do him a favour here, like Pugliese, like Bellon.
Yeah, do him a real solid. Wonder if he's been able to try and bribe some of the riders to just maybe carve up Cano a little bit, but
doesn't happen in this spot, Liam.
No, not at all, not at all. I'd say should probably talk about swapping Pokemon cards. Maybe that's back in our days that would have happened. So Cano continues to lead the way from now on. Pugliese, Peroni up the inside. The Argentine ready. He wants another podium.
Really well, really good. Look at that on the inside there.
Yeah, he's looking really good. It's a 73 up the inside of Bellon and Torres. Side by side with Gonzalez down the straight once more. Pugliese pulls out from behind Cano, but can't make a move on your championship leader for now. Cano continuously leading the way. Now, where's Morelli? He's only moved up 1 position on that lap, but he might... Oh my goodness me, I was looking at Morelli in the background, and number 4 of Tassini chopped across the front of Morelli, who does set the fastest lap. He's into 50. This is a leading group of 17 riders, but if we see a replay of that, the number 4 chopped right in front of Morelli and could have taken the front wheel from your former championship leader. Now his teammate, or Ticini's teammate, Gonzalez, makes a play for fifth and makes it stick as Cano is still leading the way. Down back straight we go for the third time, and Peroni side by side with Pugliese. Now we've seen Cano many times look over his shoulder to see the rider coming alongside him. Later
look out for Bellon.
Bellon though, 2 for 1 offer deal, and David Gonzalez gone deep. Where's Gonzalez gone? He ran deep into there. He's gone even further back. He's down to about 9th or 10th. So Gonzalez is having a really scrappy race 2.
Yeah, Gonzalez is really struggling compared to the promise that he showed in the first.
Yeah, really showed great promise, but he's almost all the way back. There he is, number 11. The yellow and black machine is dropped all the way down to, well, it's not flashed up in a time once. Yeah, 10th spot. So Gonzalez is almost back with Marco Morelli now. Marco Morelli, who's come from the back end of the field, just a couple positions behind David Gonzalez.
Yeah, that is quite impressive from Morelli and quite unfortunate for Gonzalez, but really we're still in a situation where this is a leading pack. Anything can happen, but any rider can make the difference in any minute moment.
Yeah, we just saw Morelli out of shot there, taking 2 for 1 into the final corner. He was backing it in sideways. There he is, number 97, from 28th on the grid. He's already up into 13th spot. And do we have another fastest lap of the race coming from Morelli? No, we don't, but he was one of the fastest riders on track. So he did set the fastest lap of the race previously. He's now up into 13th, but with 6 laps to go, he's really going to have to start motoring on through this leading group now. He's got 12 riders in front of him to reach Carlos Cano. Carlos Cano so brilliantly still leading the way for the time being.
Yeah, it's wonderful from Cano. He's going to be under pressure here now, but he manages to hold off Peroni.
Oh, I thought it was a moment there from Cano, just the way he seems to set up on that bike is the 47 of Carpushin, sorry, and looking fantastic in the race this weekend.
Bellon
Good result
trying
in race
that
1.
move every lap. He's managed to make it work earlier, but not on these leading 2.
I thought it was a bit of dust there. Was that Cano that kicked up a bit of dust, or maybe somebody else? Not sure quite where that came from, but Carlos Cano, we're just trying to find a little bit of a chink in the armour of Carlos Cano, but he doesn't seem to have one, to be honest.
He looks very, very strong, and he's looked strong all weekend.
Yeah, he has done indeed. 4 wins so far in 2024 for Cano. Championship leader is looking for his 5th victory, and of course doing the double here in Jerez. His main championship rival is mired deep in the pack, the number 97 of Marco Morelli, who in the space of 4 laps, has gone from 28th on the grid all the way up to 13th. But his main championship rival so brilliantly leading the way, not for long. Peroni had a look up the inside into the final corner, but Cano later on the brakes, and quite confident on the brakes as well, chops in front of Valentin Peroni. So Peroni, if he stays where he is now, it'll be his best result in European Talent Cup. He's had 2 third positions so far this season. That has been his only podiums, of course. As we mentioned, that would be his best result if he remains where he is. A little bit of look over the shoulder from Bellon, who's looking for his first podium in European Talent Cup. Pugliese missed out on a podium in race number 1. He's looking to rectify that here today and try and get himself back into championship contention. With Carlos Cano looking this brilliant. Oh, a couple of riders out there on the blue. That's going to detach them from this leading group. It might offer Morelli a bit of a chance here. Oh,
Cayette out.
Yeah, Cayette just saw it flash up on our timing monitor. Apparently rider okay, so it's a shame for
what we
Cayette.
want to see.
Yeah, rider okay, so that's good. But where is Morelli? We've got a rider at the background. That looks like it might be Tinez. Tinez, he's setting up, he's put his arm out, so a problem there for Tinez as
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it really is. Here we go. So what's happened here into turn 11, Privia corner. Oh, I just lost the front, and then the rear looked like came round. So took a fast tumble into the gravel trap, but thankfully that rear tire didn't bite and throw him over the top. So Morelli's already up inside the top 10. Morelli, I think he's back in 7th or 8th. He's got himself to the front of that chasing group. So Morelli on bike number 97. There he is, flashing into screen, just ahead of Zani and Perez. Longarella as well.
He's into P8.
Up into P8 is Marco Morelli. He's closing down that group in front, hand over fist. However, that group in front of him, and they're starting to become a little bit detached from Cano and Peroni.
Yeah, but now it's time for Morelli to really start eating up the kilometres. He's got a bit of space in front of him as well. He's got past the riders he had to get past. Now he's got to make his way to the leading pack.
So he set the fastest final sector of the entire race. It did Marco Morelli at 48.7 on that previous lap. He was a tenth of a second faster than Carlos Cano. And that was, of course, after the riders in front of him were squabbling. He would have lost a little bit of time with those riders. So 4 laps to go. Marco Morelli, your former championship leader, chasing as many points as he could possibly get. The podium is not out of the question here. The race win isn't out of the question here.
No, absolutely not. And Morelli has also done this in record time, really, because he's had, what, 5 fewer laps to be able to do it in, and he is in the position he was in at this point in race 1.
He was indeed. So the number 97 just behind the 47 of Karpushin. So we'll well see the number 97 8 into the gap. The 47 has his Bellon, has a look up the inside of Torres, has a look up the inside of Gonzalez. Gonzalez, he's come from 10th, he's up to 4th, so Gonzalez, don't count him out. He is the little annoying bumblebee that will be snapping all over the heels of Carlos Cano, you imagine, in a couple of laps' time. So the number 11 there on the yellow and black machine. Yeah,
Gonzalez is doing really well here. It did look like things weren't going exactly the way he would have wanted, but now he seems to be pushing on. Things seem to have clicked for him, and the Spaniard is up into P4.
The chasing group of Pugliese and Gonzalez have closed back in that advantage that Cano and Peroni had on the previous lap. It's now back down to a couple of tenths. Peroni looks really comfortable there behind Cano. He's chomping all over the rear wheel of Cano, but Cano is just running his own race. Peroni's really happy to just sit there as Gonzalez again. Larry, like, that's Morelli up to 7th now. He's past Karpushin. So Morelli, there he is. He's part of this leading group. The number 97 in record time has come through from 28th on the grid up to 7th, 21 positions. The number 97 has gained. What could he have done?
Watch out for Pugliese here.
Oh, I had to look up the inside of Peroni. Now Peroni will know that Pugliese is there. Cano has not been headed at all in this race so far. Apart from corner 1, when Pugliese led for a corner before Cano got back up the inside for turn 2. Cano has been absolutely brilliant in this race so far, but Pugliese, he's like Noriyuki Haga's climbing all over the back of the rider in front. Noriyuki Haga was one of the safest riders in racing of all time. Peroni seems to be one of them as well. He's absolutely brilliant as a number 73.
No, you do get the feeling that Peroni is biding his time, but Morelli is not. Morelli is soaring through this.
Wow, he was 7 tenths faster than Cano in the previous lap. What a ride this has been, as Cano holds the position. Gonzalez is almost tagging the back of Pugliese, so Morelli is on the back of this, but he's got 2.5 laps to do this in 7th spot. Now he's dropped the rest of the group for dead at the moment, but yeah, Pugliese looking up the inside of Peroni. Peroni maybe has to take advantage here. Cano doesn't look like he's got quite the pace, or maybe Cano is just binding his time and is happy to lead from the front, but the pace isn't that hot, or maybe Morelli's pace is just that quick. Everything else looks slow in comparison.
I think we've got 2 battles here going on, and Pugliese needs to be conscious that he's got Gonzalez behind him.
Oh, that's
Frelson and Bertola are down.
Yeah, big shame for Frelson and Bertola. That's another turn 6 incident we've seen here today. Well, we get, it looks like they may have just gone down in unison. Neither of them were tangled up with the other. So, great shame for those two, but we'll keep an eye on what's happening at the front. Marco Morelli darts for the inside. He's looking for the Estrella Galicias. He's later on the brakes than them both. Oh, it's a shame we can't see if he made the move stick. Is Morelli up the inside? No, he's not. He's actually still in 7th. So, it looks like those
Gonzalez has overtaken Pugliese there.
Yeah, he has done so. Gonzalez, after having a scruffy couple of early laps, he's back into the podium positions. Morelli there, as maybe he just pushed on too much. Now, in that previous lap, he was end of 149, so that was 7 tenths, 8 tenths of a second slower than his fastest lap of the race. Gonzalez, though, he's up for this one. He is really up for this one. He's pushing on. He wants to get past Peroni. He seems to be acting as a rear gunner to Cano. Obviously, he's not. He's just waiting to be the...
Well, Peroni's going to try something here, I think.
Yeah, Peroni, who's going to be later on the brakes? Cano again. So Peroni's... you can believe that he would be later on the brakes, but he just can't make the move stick. Or doesn't want to for now, but...
Morelli, he's leaving it late if he's not going to make it now.
Yeah, Peroni really needs... Not Peroni, Morelli needs to make a move now if he wants to be in this fight for victory as Jesus Torres. Wow, what a move. He's shoving Pugliese out to the car park grid, really leaning on him. Here we go, Morelli now. Morelli wants... I think he was about to make the move.
Too slow.
Yeah, I think Morelli was about to make the move, but Bellon was trying to make the move on Pugliese, so that stopped him from making the move. Right, so we've got just over a lap to go here for race number 2 of European Talent Cup. Cano brilliantly leading the way, but what can Morelli do from 7th? What can Gonzalez do? What can Peroni do in 2nd?
I think Peroni's acting as a bit of a buffer as well for Cano. Not of his own volition, of course, because he wants to get ahead as well. But it could well be another rider that takes advantage of it.
Morelli up to 2nd. He's up to 2nd. Here we go. Marco Morelli needs a lap of his lifetime on the final lap from 28th on the grid up to 2nd. But Marco Morelli, he sees his championship rival Carlos Cano, who's so brilliantly leading this race. What can Cano do? Can he hold on? Can Gonzalez on the yellow and black bike take his first victory? But as that Morelli dropped back into 7th, it is
good move by Bellon.
Well spotted there, corner. So Bellon back into 6th spot there. Marco Morelli's chances of this podium look like they might be scuppered here as Bellon's running some wide lines and pushing Morelli out. So Peroni, it's all up to Peroni now. It seems to be Peroni on the previous few laps has just been taking stock into Pedrosa corner, but if he's going to bite now. Oh, has a look up the inside, but not quite. Carlos Cano, he's led from lap 1 all the way to now. We're on the last lap, down the back straight for the final time this weekend in European Talent Cup. Peroni on the back wheel of Carlos Cano. David Gonzalez is there. Who's later of the late breakers? Here's Peroni, and Gonzalez as well. It's going for, oh my word, he jumps, oh my goodness me, Rios up the inside out of nowhere.
Peroni leads.
Peroni leads. Here we go, Peroni. He got 3rd place earlier on today, but Cano's coming back. Oh, they're going to touch, and Rios is up the inside of both of them almost. At time to absolute perfection. Carlos Cano, his racecraft is second to none. He's back in the lead of this race. What can the others do? The others know when he leads into this final corner, he hasn't covered. But Carlos Cano, can he take his 5th win of the season?
Absolutely incredible from Cano.
Oh,
absolutely
brilliant.
Incredible.
As soon as someone gets in front of him, he snaps back immediately. 3 corners to go through Crevi and Rios. Gonzalez is looking for a move like he did in race 1. Oh, Gonzalez pushes Rios out wide. And here comes Peroni. Peroni up the side. Who's later?
Watch out.
Oh, Peroni. Oh my word.
Morelli's taken 2.
And here comes Gonzalez. Gonzalez
taken 3.
And Cano, no way. Cano's going to take it. Cano once again, elbow to elbow. Peroni's got his elbows out.
It's going to be Cano.
It's Cano by him now. No, Peroni.
That was close.
That was Peroni.
That was close. It was Peroni.
0.04 of a second. Peroni takes the win.
Peroni.
My goodness.
Canos will be furious with himself, but Peroni is absolutely elated. Look at that. Look at him. Look at the Italian Peroni.
Wow. What a ride by Peroni.
ETC drama from start to finish. Peroni biding his time. It didn't look like he was going to make the move. He did make the move, he didn't pull it off, and then he made it again. What a race.
Valentin Peroni, European Talent Cup Race 2 winner. He was giving him the Max Biaggi on Valentino Rossi on the run to the line, and it worked. It worked. There was the elbows out. He made Carlos Cano take stock, and Valentin Peroni took about 4 thousandths of a second from Carlos Cano. And David Gonzalez once more has to settle for 3rd place, his 6th podium of the season. Pugliese just misses out, and Marco Morelli from 28th on the grid finishes 5th. But that is 9 more points he's given in the way of Carlos Cano, who increases his championship lead to 28 points. He's rushing back round to Parc Fermé. I don't think Cano's very happy with that one.
No, I'm not sure. Maybe he thinks...
Maybe he thinks he won it.
Maybe.
Or maybe he thinks that he can...
I don't think he could have seen Peroni's reaction and think that that was his.
No, maybe he was saying that was a bit of a over-the-top riding from Peroni, giving him the elbow.
Perhaps.
Like that.
Perhaps.
What we think is just, as a neutral, brilliant racing in the form of Valentin Peroni and Carlos Cano.
No, absolutely incredible.
David Gonzalez very lucky to stay on the bike there. He had a bit of contact with Cano coming out of the final corner. Could have ended in tears for the Spanish rider, but thankfully he was able to stay on the bike and take his 6th podium of the season. But
yeah, absolutely wonderful stuff.
My goodness me, try and get your breath back after that one. Valentin Peroni. Well, it's his 3rd podium of the season, but quite brilliantly his best ride of the season to take his 1st and maiden victory in European Talent Cup. Well, Valentin Peroni, as we just watch it for the camera there, please. I don't want to be knocking over the expensive equipment. However, can't be too hard on any of the mechanics because it's quite a tight park firmly, so they've got to do their job waiting for their riders to come in. Now, we're seeing Peroni and Cano debrief on what happened there on the run to the lane as Gonzalez celebrates another podium. Now, this is the last lap. Peroni made a decisive move into Pedrosa corner turn at number 6. Gonzalez had a little bit of look, almost tagging the back of Cano, and that sat him up and allowed Jesus Torres to come through for 6th. But Torres was pushed out wide by Gonzalez through turn 12. That dropped him back as Marco Morelli took full advantage of that to go from 7th into 5th. But Peroni up the inside with a very audacious late braking move, a block pass there, and trying to get the cut back. Carlos Cano came right across David Gonzalez. Gonzalez had contact with Cano. Now here we go, elbow to elbow stuff. Carlos Cano giving Peroni a bit of an elbow. Peroni giving more of it back, and Peroni just snatches victory there. Slow-mo coming across the lane. The 73 on your left, the 71 on your right. Cano looks across at Peroni, and Peroni knows he just snatched it by mere millimeters here on the run to the line. Outstanding stuff from both Cano and Peroni. Well, he's quite a character, as Valentin Peroni, the Argentine rider, one of the best young up-and-coming talents. And another Argentine rider that Argentina has to celebrate, as Marco Morelli, still well and truly within this championship, came into the round as championship leader by 4 points, leaves at 20 points behind Carlos Cano, but having to come through from 28th on the grid. An extremely good effort and setting fastest lap after fastest lap on his way to the leading group will give him great confidence for Aragon and Valencia. They can maybe overturn that 20-point deficit with 3 races to go in the European Talent Cup. So Carlos Cano, a hard day's work, but a very good day's work for the young Spaniard. Alvaro Carpe runs over to congratulate him. A big bear hug and a big slap on the back from Alvaro Carpe. I don't think Cano quite expected that. Was quite happy. Brown Uriarte as well, who we just saw. Oh, they've been awarded victory. Now, this could be quite... Now they're celebrating like it began victory. We may have just had the biggest upset of the day. Carlos Cano has been declared your winner. Now, what a turn of events. Drama here in race number 2 of European Talent Cup. We will have to hear from Conor Doherty down in pit lane how that happened. Well, Valentin Peroni, was he deemed to be a little bit over the line on the run to the flag? From delight to despair for Valentin Peroni. He is distraught with that one, and I cannot blame him. He's been demoted 1 position, or did exceed track limits. Now let's have a... Here we go. So the run to the line, slow-mo. Or is that photo finish? Was it? I must admit, that is the hardest thing to tell from that angle. He can really not tell who's the first one over the line. It could be either of them. But the time screen did give it to Valentin Peroni initially. Oh, goodness me. Nothing separating Valentin Peroni or Carlos Cano. I mean, Race Direction have got even more cameras there to judge that from, so trying to decipher that one from here in the commentary box by looking at the monitor is extremely difficult. So, yeah, such a shame for Valentin Peroni to lose that victory. It would have been his first one in the European Talent Cup, but 5 more important points go the way of Carlos Cano. Will now take a 25-point lead into Aragon, and we're now about to hear from a brand new race winner, Carlos Cano. He's with Conor.
Carlos, that was a phenomenal race from start to finish, and then that last lap, last second drama. Tell us what happened.
Yeah, I don't know. I race was amazing. I am very happy. The other victory, and no words. It's amazing race. The condition was very hot, very difficult. I am very happy. The other victory, 4 in the champions, was incredible. I thank people who support me, my family, and all my team. Thank you.
And now in Spanish, please.
Estoy muy contento, no sé lo que ha pasado al final, me lleva a la victoria. Ha sido una carrera también muy calurosa, muy difícil. He estado trabajando todo este fin de semana con mi equipo al máximo y la verdad que me siento increíble ahora mismo con 2 victorias en Jerez. Es una cosa increíble y se lo quiero agradecer a mi equipo y a mi familia, a los que me han apoyado. Gracias.
Congratulations.
Well, one of the most dramatic race finishes, starting in the most dramatic fashion, with the start being abandoned after a couple of jump starts before the start of the race. We had a couple of minutes for timeout before we got underway once more. And Carlos Cano, who came into the race looking for his second victory of the day. His lights went out, he got the whole shot, but it would be Pugliese that would lead into turn number 1. But it wouldn't be long before Carlos Cano on bike 71 and your championship leader would retaliate into turn 2, making this bold and brave move on Pugliese. So Carlos Cano leading the way, he would remain in the lead until the final lap of the race, when he came under threat from Valentin Peroni. Further back, we were watching out for Marco Morelli come from 28th on the grid. He would eventually find his way inside the leading group. Further back, Valentin Peroni was making a move to 69. He ran off at turn number 11. Thankfully, Ryder was okay as Bellon and Pugliese got close for comfort at Pedrosa corner. That sat up David Gonzalez. He'd be eventually shuffled back after another moment at turn 6, but he'd fight his way back brilliantly to find himself in the podium battle. Valentin Peroni made a move up the inside, clean and clinical at the final corner, before he'd eventually find his way past Pugliese. David Gonzalez fought back, but then almost tagged the back of Pugliese into turn number 6 as we saw another crash further back. Very fast off, but thankfully we did see the rider walking away. Number 6 of Kayet will be back, we hope, for Aragon in a few weeks' time. But on the final lap, it was Peroni that made that incredible move on the inside of Cano. But then Cano fought back immediately. We did see a bit of contact in Moto 2 earlier on. We were hoping to be as clean as you like through turn number 7, and it was. Cano was back at the forefront of the race. Jesus Rios ran off at the final corner, but it was Peroni up the inside with a block pass, and Gonzalez trying to take an opportunity to make contact with Cano side by side, elbow to elbow. It was Biaggi Rossi still from Suzuka 01, but it would be Valentin Peroni who carried the momentum, and we crossed the line, we thought, for victory, but it was Cano that took victory at the end, and our timing monitored, it was a dead heat. There was nothing to split them as Carlos Cano took his 5th victory of the season. Well, what a dramatic end to the European Talent Cup. I cannot think of one any more dramatic than that. And Connor, you were down in Park Fermi when the results were changed. What happened? Can you tell us what happened?
I can tell you what happened, and I can tell you that I wouldn't necessarily be the one. I wouldn't like to be the person that was organising this podium right now. In the end, photo finish, Cano crossed the line first. But they changed it just before the interview we usually have with the winner, and it was absolute drama, ecstasy down there, dismay in another corner.
Well, if you want drama, come to European Talent Cup because we have it in abundance. But the championship leader Carlos Cano does take the victory here today, and well, Valentin Peroni went from, well, overjoyed to despair, and it means that the 72 Artbox Racing team have picked up their 4th victory of the day. Can you believe it? JuniorGP and European Talent Cup outstanding from that team, outstanding from Carlos Cano, but Valentin Peroni, you've got to feel for him. He takes his best result in European Talent Cup, but my goodness me, that one will sting. He was so close to victory, and Carlos Cano stands atop the podium proud for his 5th victory and 25-point lead in the European Talent Cup Championship.
Escuchamos el himno nacional de España. fuerte aplauso para los integrantes del Podium de la segunda
Well,
carrera
once
de la
more, the
Vuelta
Spanish national anthem rings out across Jerez, but Carlos Cano taking victory. He doesn't look the most happy with his victory here today in race number 2. It's a complete contrast from his celebrations in race 1, isn't it? I know, wow, that seems like the most unenthusiastic spray of the bottle. It's Gonzalez. He doesn't care, does he? He's a character, is David Gonzalez, and he'll be happy with any podium usually.
Usually, yeah, but this was something else, Liam. I can't express just how dramatic it was down there in Parc Fermé when the news filtered through effectively that we were going to switch the front two and that Cano was the eventual winner, with Peroni finishing in second.
Wow, unbelievable scenes in European Talent Cup. You can cut the tension on the podium with a knife. Cano takes victory here by a dead heat over Valentin Peroni and David Gonzalez.
Here we have then the final result. Carlos Cano confirmed as the race winner. In second, Valentin Peroni, the Argentinian. In third, David Gonzalez. In fourth, Giulio Pugliese. And in fifth, Marco Morelli with a phenomenal march through the park. Enzo Bellon in sixth, Jesus Torres in seventh, Yaroslav Karpushin in eighth, and Alex Longarella in ninth. Following him in 10th, Beñat Fernandez. In 11th, Leonardo Zani. 12th, Gonzalo Perez. In 13th, Marianos Nicolas. 14th, Gabriel Tessini. 15th, Pau Alzina. And in 16th, Seru Ikegami. And in 17th, Kerman Tines. Behind them in 18th, Mickey Liu. 19th, Alberto Enriquez. 20th, Christian Daniel Jr. 21st, Edu Gutierrez. And 22nd, Luca Agostinelli. 23rd, Mattias Tamburini. 24th, Matteo Gambarini. And 25th, Henry Mignot. In 26th, Keanu Valle, not finishing the race, Eduardo Bertola, Julius Felsen, Benjamin Cayet, and Fernando Bujosa.
Well, this is what that late change of results has done to the championship standings. Carlos Cano came into Jerez 4 points behind Morelli, now leaves at 25 points ahead of the Argentine rider. David Gonzalez in third ahead of Valentin Peroni on 106 points, tied or just 3 points ahead of Pugliese. Jesus Torres, Leonardo Zani, and Alex Longarella running your top 8 ahead of Pau Alsina in 9th. Gabriel Tessini in 10th ahead of Beñat Fernandez. Ikegami in 12th ahead of Gonzalo Perez and Fernando Bujosa, who we saw as a retirement in the race. Enzo Bellon, Luca Agostinelli, and Kerman Tines, who had a bike problem halfway through the race, but finished 17th anyway on 21 points. Just behind Tines is Marianos Nicolas and Pablo Oliveras ahead of Benjamin Cayet, who had a fast crash at turn number 11, running your top 20. Karpushin, great weekend for Karpushin, moving up to 21st ahead of David Da Costa, Mattias Tamburini, and Rocco Sessler. Just outside the top 25 is Christian Daniel Jr. on 3 points ahead of Edu Gutierrez, Remy San Juan, and Mickey Liu, the US rider, rounding out the 29 runners and riders. Well, now how do we dissect that one? Because that was one of the most dramatic ends to a race you will ever see. Elbow to elbow between Carlos Cano and Valentin Peroni. Peroni took it by 4 thousandths of a second, and then in Parc Fermé, when you were down there to soak in all of the atmosphere, Connor, the results were swapped.
It was absolutely incredible, Liam. And genuinely, I think that the only thing on this earth that's more exciting than an ETC Race 1 is an ETC Race 2, because that was unbelievable. That last lap, anything could have happened. Peroni was absolutely assured of himself that he had won. We saw the celebrations, we were shouting that he'd won. And then, in Parc Fermé, to his dismay, we find out that it's actually Cano that's won his second race of the day.
Well, the person that would probably even more upset about Carlos Cano taking victory, more so than Valentin Peroni, will be his championship rival, Marco Morelli, who did storm through from 28th on the grid to finish quite a brilliant 5th spot. David Gonzalez, he finishes 3rd again here today, but this is the moment we'll all be talking about for many years to come. Valentin Peroni and Carlos Cano, elbow to elbow, touching on the way down to the checkered flag. And this is the only reason I could think of before we get official confirmation of why the positions were potentially swapped. Elbow to elbow. Valentin Peroni was the clear winner as it came across the line. Our timing monitors confirmed that. But as he celebrated his first victory in European Talent Cup after what was quite a clinically and sensational ride to victory. He was eventually demoted to second, and Carlos Cano, your championship leader, was promoted to the top step of the podium, and he now takes the initiative in the championship with 3 races to go. European Talent Cup will be back in action in Aragon, as with Carlos Cano, he takes 25 points ahead of his main championship rival Marco Morelli, heading into the penultimate round of the championship.